I didn't know how involved I would get at the time, but I at least wanted to read a couple books and see exactly, how bad this could be, because my experience with talking to these guys had been a pleasant one.
32-year-old Brian Culkin grew up near Boston and graduated from Skidmore College. In 2007, he embarked on a spiritual journey which drew him to Scientology. In the summer of 2009, he paid $80,000 in advance for a Scientology counseling program in Clearwater and booked his flight.
And I flew into Tampa, and I was told by Charlie Bills, who was my rep, that I was going to be picked up by a flag boss, and basically I grab my bags and I go out into the curb, and there'll be a bus waiting for me, and you'll know it'll say flag on the side. And I was waiting for my luggage, and all of a sudden I hear someone say, "Hi, Brian," or something like that. "Hey, Brian." And I turned around, and I was first shocked that someone knew who I was, and it was two people from CMO, Commoners Messengers Organization, from the Superpower Project. And I said, "Oh, okay." So they said, "We're here to pick you up." On the car ride over to Flag, it was, instantly involved in my first registration cycle, or reg cycle, for donations to the Superpower Project. And I remember being in the car and being like, I'm not really ready to donate any money. They were trying to get me to donate to be a cornerstone, which is $35,000, I think, or $30,000. And I said, and a cornerstone is a status level that you have to do. I said, I don't think I'm ready to do that. And I was fairly adamant, at first about not doing it. And then eventually I decided in the car ride over that I would donate a few $1,000s to the project. I remember quite definitively the franticness when I gave her my credit card for her to run it in the car. Well, first of all, I remembered her asking me to run the credit card in the car. And I thought that was just bizarre. I said, "You want to run my credit card now for this few $1,000s?" And she said, yeah, we have this thing where we have to, our weekend's Thursday at 2, and we have to get all of our donations in by that time. So I kind of was like, all right, okay. It's still a little weird, but sure. And then the minute I pulled up to the Fort Harrison Hotel where I was staying, and I stayed there for several months, there was a person waiting there for me to collect my money to finish my accommodations. So there was somebody like instantly waiting there. Like, I remember opening the door, and they actually had called the person driving to see where we were, and we probably showed up at like 1:55 or something like that. And then somebody was like at the door. They opened the car door, and the guy was like, "You Brian, I need the money for the accommodation." And I was like, what the hell is going on at this place? And then immediately, after I signed in, and I had I believe, an ethics interview, which everyone does when they go to Flag at first, I was instantly brought into to meet Dave Foster, who's one of the Flag Regs. And he instantly regged me to pay for my whole bridge, which would have been like an additional, $150,000 or something like that. So it was like, the first day was like boom, boom, boom. At first it was annoying, basically, But then it got to the point where it was like really affecting me in the fact that I was like not feeling, safe, at the place. It was like every time I walked out of the auditing room, it was like people looking for money from me. It was quite ridiculous. After a session one day, my auditor, Nina Palmer, who was a class 12, we sat down after the session, and she said, Brian, I really think that you should do, your patron, it's like, she really was like kind of laying on the compliments. You're so young and you're so successful, and, this is such an important thing to do. And I said, yeah, I think it is an important thing to do, but I don't think, I just spent a lot of money on my L's, and I don't think I'm really quite ready to, do that kind of financial commitment right now. She was looking for $50,000. I said, I'm not really ready for that, And she really wouldn't back off. She really, 10 minutes going back and forth. And I remember like in that conversation, because, for me it's like, in the auditor relationship, you really look up to these people. I was amazed at this really strong intention these people had, where they could just, sit someone down in the room and say, listen, you're going to give us 50 grand. We need it to, stave off the destruction that this planet's heading on to, very shortly.
The church said ministers soliciting donations from their congregation is not only appropriate, It is a constitutionally protected form of religious activity. The church also confirmed that Calkin made multiple donations while in Clearwater, but said, "Fundraising at Flag is done in accordance with church policy and in a respectful and professional manner." Calkin says he spent $320,000 during his year in Scientology. He remained at Scientology's Flag land base in Clearwater for 7 months. He left in February 2010, weary of being pressured for money. Today he teaches yoga and works as a business consultant. Reporting with Joe Childs and Tom Tobin, this is Maurice Rivenbark for the St. Petersburg Times.